Hello, hello, hello. Happy Friday. Let me say that out loud and proud. Happy Friday. Oh, it's making me log in. That's fun. I was wondering why it was giving my chat um an error. Let's go ahead and take a moment to get logged in to our which that is. Well, this is a fun curveball for getting started, but we gotta have some chat. Try this. Fire up the chat. Right, chat. Hey, happy Friday. Did it allow us? Hey, it worked that time. Okay, cool. Got it. Well, hello, happy Friday. Fun curveball, way to get started. Coding curriculum, or coding curricula with Chris. Continuing our web dev for beginners from Microsoft. As always, thank you so much, Microsoft. So far, we've managed to get through what is programming, introduction to the tools, the JavaScript data types. We've done some HTML, some CSS, and this week we've had some fun where we've been introduced to events, learned about our browser, created a form, and talked about local storage. And today we're going to be learning about background tasks and performance. So let's get started as we normally do by updating some of our logs while maybe we get some viewers coming in. Just to keep everybody apprised of where we're at and as we continue to work through this. So today is January 20th. Lesson 14. Did I get that right in the announcement? Yeah, I did. All right. Lesson 14, and we're talking about background performance. Is that right? Yeah, background performance and such. So we're going to update some logs, do our browser background stuff, lecture, and then we need to work on the homepage. And I'm very excited about the homepage because we do, as a matter of fact, have a Node server that's connected to Node Mailer. Let's check its health real quick. So I need to, it's a AWS VPS, so Amazon Web Server Virtual Private Server. It's a light sale instance that came with Node and a bunch of other things automatically with it. I have a static IP address right here pointing to port 8080 / API health. Okay, cool. You might not be able to see that, but there, if I zoom in, the server's up and running. So we'll be able to actually shoot some emails. I'm really excited today to add a contact form to the homepage. And while we're at it, we also maybe want to we need to make hero button go somewhere, because right now it doesn't go anywhere. That's a big no-no. We also maybe want to in the future, I don't know if we're going to have time for this, but add icons to about sections. Maybe make some icons wiggle and bounce. Put some movement or some depth into some of these elements because it looks pretty dry. And we need to maybe start theming at some point where we say all of our buttons are going to be this color and all of our cards are going to be like this. So far, I very much just left it as by default, and that's no bueno, because if you've done this for just like a little bit of time, then you can immediately recognize a Bootstrap website. So Friday update logs, commit and push. Cool. Okay. So let's work on our curriculum so we can get into this forum and do these other things to the homepage like I promised we would knock out by Friday. What do we got? Browser extension, background tasks, and performance. No more no more notes. That's unfortunate. I like those. And, I also feel like they kind of maybe did. There was a lot of hand holding in that browser extension. I ended up fighting with Webpack a whole lot. And if I didn't know what Webpack was, I probably wouldn't have fought with it so much. But we dove right into that thing whenever it just, I don't know. Anyways, test the performance of your app using the browser's tools. That's cool. Using a separate software package. That's actually important, and manually is not the answer. If you're going to test, I mean, like test while you're writing your code. And somebody asked the other day on Twitter, what's the best way to like write code that AI can help you with? And the answer is unit testing, very small, writing unit testable code. And I guess that's a form of manual testing. But out of all these and relevant to the lesson, I would say using the browser tools, specifically inspect, go to performance, or no, I'm sorry, Lighthouse, and then analyze page load. And they also talked about performance insights and things like that. So using the browser tools because it's relevant to this lesson. But using separate monitoring software is a huge industry as well, and it's only especially as you get it more into web development, or maybe you get away from web development per se, and more into like system administration and decentralized applications. So yeah, using browser tools. How the performance of a website. The performance of a website is an analysis of how fast it loads, yes, how fast the code on it runs, yes, and both of the above. Because, I mean, I guess that's true. Like, you could have really fast running code, but a picture that takes forever to upload. Or you can have really, really small pictures and really, really bad, inefficient code that might not even work. So let's go both of the above. Okay. And overall, the weight of web pages over the past few years has gotten lighter, gotten heavier, stayed the same. I don't know. That's a tough question. Gotten lighter. We'll say gotten heavier because most web pages are actually published using the WordPress CMS, which is known to be especially heavy. Lots of React applications and components out there, and out of the box, that's very heavy too because it has a dozen or more things included in the Webpack. So I'm going to say gotten heavier. Yeah. Okay. Cool. No whammies. The last two lessons in this module, you learned how to build a form and display the area and the data fetched from an API. Yep, we did all that. Sometimes you still have to manage background tasks, like refreshing the color of an extension's icon. Okay. Web performance is about two things: how fast the page loads and how fast the code on it runs. Zach Grossbart. Who are you, Zach? Maybe we'll tweet at him today. See what happens with that. The first thing you need to know is about is how to gather data about its performance. So right here, it's just talking about opening up your command tools and then go into the performance tab. So inspect, go to performance. I guess we're profiling, but we can't read. Well, let's switch. There. Now maybe we can read, and we'll also reduce this while it's profiling. Okay, let's do both now. The performance tab contains a profiling tool. Open up an example. We got this one, and click the record button, and then refresh the site. All right. Stop the recording at any time, and you will be able to see the routines that are running and are generated to script, render, and paint the site. Let's stop. See what happens when we hit refresh. it when everything's right. See all the evaluate script tasks. Cool. Logo, frame. All did you highlight that for me? Or see there. Layout. Loaded the code that needed layout document. Very cool. Super interesting. Okay. Select the range. Range could be, here's how much scripting, painting, system, idle, event logs, profiling checks, DOM traversal. That's super important, but you know, at this point, how much of it do you think we'll do? We'll probably do a little bit of it later on in these lessons, but it's not going to talk about DOM traversal in this lesson, I don't think. But they're absolutely right that every JavaScript developer should watch for render blocking scripts that must be loaded before the rest of the DOM can be traversed and painted. Consider using the defer with your inline scripts as done in that Terraria module. Remember, I called that out on the CSS. I was like, why do we have that up here at the top? Or webpagetest.org by Catchpoint. They always try to take money from you. Okay, so now that you have an idea of how the browser renders the assets you send it, let's look at the last few things you need to do to complete your extension. Let's create a function to calculate color, it says. So let's do that. Where we open this. And we've got the calculate color. Is that what we're looking for, function? And did it already fill it in? No, it hadn't filled it in yet. Came with it. Cool. So working in the SRC index, find the function called calculate color after the series, and then what we're going to do is we're going to call it. Let's see if it knows the function of calculate color, or as a value parameter you pass in this value. What are we going to do with the value? Let CO2 scale, camel case, scale equal, not filling this in for me like I wanted. I'm gonna copy it. Copy, paste. Where it's saying, hey, here's this function of calculate color, and your CO2 scale from 0 to, I guess, 1,000. As it goes up, the colors increasingly come darker, I imagine, go from like a green to a red. Here's where you manage the calculation of the closest number, and at some point it's going to console log this for you while it's running. Let the number, that's a lambda function where you pass in the element, so long as the element is greater than closest number, so it's sorting here before you scale the index and find the number. Then send the runtime update the icon, okay, to the closest color that came around whenever it was filtering and reducing and trying to find the best match for it. Now, in the init function, let's set the icon to be a generic green by the start. That makes sense. Like if it has no value at all, like right here, then it's just green. That's cool. Please don't alarm me for nothing. Just give me green. And then, or maybe it'd be fun to update this to like a blinking red. Show that it didn't have a connection. Maybe it's a blinking red until it has a connection. The moment it has a connection, then by default, it's green, and if it's red for real, then it's red for real. So we put that in the init function update icon. Now call the function. We have to execute the call. That at calculate CO2. I guess you could just do that down here. Does have a step we're missing. No? Calculate color. Where's the scope of color though? Or calculate color. Function of calculate color. Inside here. So we can't just call it anywhere. Calculate the color. Right there as we pass in the value of the CO2. So the amount of CO2 needs to be available also. Okay. And finally, in distribution background, add the listener for these background action calls. So let's open up our navigation background.js. We're going to add the listener here. Means if there's an updated icon, then it will set the icon. Needs to draw the icon here. And here we're getting way out of our depth for this level where we're invoking our canvas and doing it 2D and we've drawn a circle. But it's cool that it's already introducing us to those principles, but still, we've drawn the icon there. Very cool. And borrowed the energy from the lollipop extension. That's here too. So wait. That's the listener. I guess it wouldn't matter where it goes, huh? Yeah. So save, add this code to your listener. Yeah, and it introduced the Canvas API right here. Pretty cool in the space game lessons. Says now we need to navigate. So let's navigate. We're already in. So CD5. Start. No. T. Start. npm run build. Okay. Now let's look at it before. My carbon trigger. One that worked. Okay, so no lollipop shaped. Call it no lollipop shaped icon yet. We go to extensions and we can just refresh, reload, what have you. Now we go to my carbon trigger. Oh, there's the icon right there. Red. What do you know? Not good. And see, as it's connecting, it starts at green and then it flashes to red once it sees how bad the pollution is there. That's depressing. Hoping for something greener and more colorful, but that did help. Cool, drawing the icon. Maybe we'll draw this icon right here on this page that we're making together. Because I was thinking about making this a progressive web app. I have a good idea for a progressive web app, and yeah. Anyways, that would be a fun lesson to do because I believe in those, and also I don't think we should have to go to the App Store all of the time for all of our productions. So challenge, investigate some open source websites that have been around a long time, and based on their GitHub history, see if you can determine how they were optimized over the years for performance, if at all, was the most common pain point. It's a weird challenge. I'm not going to do that. We can do that in our own time. And if you have a good example of an awesome website that or an open source website that's been renovated in a bunch of cool ways over the years, and yeah, share that with me. But I wouldn't know where to begin with that. Let's do our post lecture quiz. Um, to get a better view of your site's performance, clear its cache and reload in the profiler. True. Browser extensions are inherently performant. I want to say true because you've already downloaded them. You download a browser extension and then it runs in your browser until you update it, which means you already have the data right there, as opposed to a web page or something working dynamically where you're relying on your internet connection speed. So I'm going to say true. Oh, nope. Nope, false. Extensions are slow. They'll slow down your page, your browser, and everything around it. Makes sense. Analyze the following for performance bottlenecks: your DOM traversal, your JavaScript optimization, your asset management, all of the above. That's like a 10-year mission, right? Making sure that your code is clean and efficient, and other people can work on it. Uh, yeah, all the above, absolutely. Cool. Review. Consider signing up for the performance newsletter. Or analyze a site for performance. We can do. You can do that on your own time, and that's actually a really good sales tactic. Whenever you're out there freelancing and just getting started, say, "Hey, look, I ran this report on your site, and here's all of the things that are wrong with it." And they think you're some sort of wizard, like you plugged it into a tool that only hackers have access to, but it's included in the browser. It's your lighthouse. So use that and say, I can fix all that for you. All it costs is, 1,500 bucks, 2,000, whatever. Um, cool. Yeah, we learned about the performance. I don't know how much you'll be challenged on that in your professional career as a web developer, but you definitely need to have awareness of it. And I'm sure there are people like this a gentleman, this author, who just has the most experience in the world. And we're going to shout out to him on Twitter later and say thank you for this piece. That said, let's get to work on some of these things today because it's Friday and I want to move forward with this contact page like immediately. The thing I'm really looking forward to. So let's finish browser extension on this thing. Date this thing. Open our coding curricula v1. There we go. Nope, wrong curricula. There we go. And I did clean up code a little bit last night. I went down kind of a rabbit hole. Yeah, there are no observable changes to the website, but I did get rid of some assets and refactor the. I'd say probably the biggest challenge or the biggest change is the index is a lot cleaner. The routers on the very very outside, everything inside the app. You don't have anything in the app except for your navigation, your pages, and your footer at the bottom. And inside of these routes, um, is all of the pages that we have available. So I think it's a little bit cleaner. It looks a little bit better. Hello, viewer. Please say, hey, happy Friday. Hey, happy Friday. Thanks for joining. But we made some really cool changes to the site, and let me know what you'd like to see happen. Like I mentioned earlier, I want to make this wiggle. We need to do something with this get start button. Let's do that now, immediately. In our hero section, this button needs to have a link, right? And we can just, where do we want to href this to? Icon section. Let's send it to current project. We'll send it here. Not, yeah. No. Where do we want to send it? YouTube, Twitch. Where do I want the views? Okay. Well, where do I want the views? It's like, where do I want to cut? Here, let's send it to Twitch and see what happens. Oh, we need to do npm start to fire up our demo. But yeah, I think I want the views on Twitch. Please let me know if that's not the best place for them. I want it to go to maybe the GitHub repo too, or we could do an iframe as well, right here in the middle, below the hero, and above these icons, or even below the icons, where maybe I'm getting tweets and stuff on this front page. I know the front page needs to be more interactive and have something to do with the content that I'm producing and the lessons that I'm making available. But where exactly, I don't know. I haven't figured out my KPI. I need to hear from my audience, I guess, as we're building this thing. Okay. Loading for us. And then the button should say stream here. Takes us right to our stream. Cool. Okay. Let's be sure to say where that goes. Twitch break. Don't want to go there. Have it there. But whatever. With not R free, but just free. Okay. Cool. How's that look on mobile? Not good. Not that mobile. Over. Okay. Not bad. Now, let's make this contact form. I'm excited about that. And, let's see if we can ask Chat GPT to please make a React JS. Please make a React JS component that sends a post request to this API v1 / emails with name, subject, and message in the body. Let's see what happens. It shut it down. It shut it down. It says no more coding responses in ChatGPT. Okay, let's see what happens in just our playground then. That's funny. Okay, that actually looks good. Yeah, I think that has everything we need. Let's try it out. Or everything we need at least to get started. So we are doing this, and this we'll make this a component, even though we probably won't use it anywhere else. Email form. Still good form, right? Okay. Let's see what happens here. Div form. And see all this groovy AI action. It's awesome. Yeah. Type text, subject, name, value, subject, unchanged, subject, area with the message. That all looks good. We're going to have to refactor this to include Bootstrap components. Export default. Didn't export default it by... No, this isn't a functional. Yeah, it is. It's a functional. Okay, save. What's it look like? Not gonna look good. Need to import it. Our contact page, contact there. So import email form, then email form. What doesn't it like? Oh. Okay, all good. Contact. It looks real ugly. Like I said, we're gonna need the bootstrap. But yeah. Name, subject, message. See if it works. Open up this. Drag that out. Put it at the bottom. Put it at the bottom. Put it tool. Doesn't matter. Console. See what happens. My name. Subject. Test from React. Message. Test. 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 Send. Okay. Bad request. Please provide all required fields. Okay. So we need to take a look at our code and see what exactly I passed in for these name, subject, and message values. Let's open a new window. Or no, I got it in Postman, as a matter of fact. I've tested this with Postman. I came prepared. I'm proud of myself. All right. So in Postman, we need these values. We need a from, a subject, and text. Okay. So let's go back to our email form component. We need a from, subject, and text. We got to rename all of this. So let's from, set from, subject, yeah, and const, called it text. Set text. A good example of how naming variables isn't necessarily easy. So from is from, subject, subject, text, text. And that's all this API can handle. So as you submit this to the form, it's gonna keep it on the form. Hit that URL endpoint. It's looking for this data. We're using a fetch from this URL. The post method, we've stringified it. That's all good. So if it's good and we made it this far, then awesome. Otherwise, catch any errors. What's going on here? So name is not actually name. We call that from. So we need to find all of those. Say from. Right? Set from. Here. Subject. The next one was subject, subject. Okay, that's all good. Be right? No. Type text. Name, subject, set subject. That's all good. But this one, message. It wasn't message. It was text. D text. Text. And I think we've got all of it. Try, no whammies. Refresh. Clear this. From Jerry Sue. Test from React. I think that this should be in type email address. Type email here. Anyways, type test from React. Okay, cool. It sent back a positive response and says success. Jerry Sue from Fake Email sent a test from React. And if I look in my inbox, then absolutely, that's true. Right here. I got a test from React. Cool. So now you can contact me through the website. Please don't don't blow me up. But how we did this was not so simple as just make this form and the data magically goes over the internet. I had to set up a server that actually handles this data, and here's the IP address and the port number and one of the routes for it, right? That can actually be some pretty sensitive data. Because if you think about software, really advanced software, all it is a collection of complicated endpoints and making this data interact these different ways. So we know some of my endpoints now. Please don't blow me up. I probably ought to make some changes to them after this, but it's okay. Not a big deal. I trust my audience is small enough at this point to where we'll be fine. But that gave us exactly what we were looking for. We just need to style it because it does look awful. So let's contact this. I should be email form. Definitely need to put this in a container. 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 Form. Got that from React Bootstrap. We have a label. No label about input. Put group from React Bootstrap. Let's ask our AI friend. Use React Bootstrap to produce the turn of div render. It's reproducing all of the code which we asked for. We want a try to delete that. Please make a React Bootstrap form component that takes from subject and call it text as a contact form. Okay, cool. This should actually work. So we have the forms, return forms, everything after return. And we even have a button. Let's just copy, paste everything inside of container. Make it a little prettier, and we need to import a container, the form, button. There we got form, about container, and what did we say, button? So it's saying set text, set from. When did we set that? We'll submit. Oh, we didn't call the handles. Got it. Form. What did that look like? Form on submit. Handle submit. Take an E. Yeah. So is not defined. Why not? What was that? But I guess I can. Already got that. How'd we do? On submit, handle submit. Okay. Edit, redo. All like that. Looks a little bit better. Return. How did we get that in there? Contact us. No, we don't want that twice. Other one then. From contact us. Oh, it's coming from the component. Okay. So now let's see. Now let's test it. We have the subject from subject text from email. But we don't have any we're not taking any of the values here and plugging them back in. Form from type E role ID. So shouldn't this just be from? From? All right. Looking at supposed to get this data. But if we test it out, let's see what happens. Inspect console. I would think. Function that passes like calls. Try this again. So we know that this works. See if it can't guide us once it knows that we're in form. Form on submit, handle submit. Okay, now we're better. That's all it has? Email address? We need more than that. It heard me. Area and good. Area. It. Okay. Much better. That's what I think we were looking for. Build successfully. Better here. Clear out this. No whammies on refresh. Enter your email. That's my email. Test. I don't know, 15. And text. This is a test. Submit. Yep, success. Cool. With all of my info coming back with bootstrap styling. Looks much better. So say, huzzah, the test works. free to contact me. We'll never share your email with anybody else. That's true. I need to get rid of this contact. I don't have anybody else to share it with. I need to know who it's from. That's why we have that field there. Otherwise, I won't have any idea who it's from. What else? How's it look on all the other screens? Okay, that's bad. How's it look on mobile? Not so bad on mobile. But we definitely want to make it better for this widescreen desktop version. So let's do this form. Okay, with the container. That'd be a bad idea. Rem. How would we style this? Just so on desktop, but then it's another media query, and we don't want to do that. Unless we have to, I guess. So form. That's another thing I did is I refactored all this, all the CSS to where it's just place. What happens if we call dot form, because it's our only form. I give us auto code. Oh. About if I say background color red. No, then I don't have control. If awesome. Let's give it a class. Mail form as a nope. Okay. Class name equals form. What happens now? See, got it now. Now the background's red. Call it contact form. Contact form. Go back to our app CSS. Then we call our query contact form. And now we know that we've got a grip on it. We can put this in our desktop media. And on desktop, we'll say dot contact form. Right here, it says on everything else red, but on desktop it's going to be blue. We don't want that. We want get rid of this red because it's awful. And then see if we go wide and it's still. What we want is we want to say width 50%. Yeah, it knew where I was going. We also want to put it in the middle. That way, see what it gives me. Let's let's generate some. What's it say? Accept that solution. I wanted that. Gave me a lot more than I wanted. Form control. Okay. I think it gave me a couple more key value pairs, or what it looks like though. No, we don't like that. It's very avant-garde, but no, thank you. Get rid of that. What happened? Okay. No. Flex direction. We don't want. We want it to be a column. Now what happens? Okay, we're still good. Now we want to say line item center, good. And width. Now say 50%. It should line up in the now. No. What's going on here? That's because it's in a different container. What is this? It's in 2 columns. Got 2 columns in here. That happened. Contact form within the contact form. What we called contact form. We need to get stuff that's above it. Is this did above contact us, which is actually on the page. So here, let's call this class name contact page. Save that. Go to apps or CSS and move this contact form. We don't want anything raw as possible. And then we want to say in this contact form or contact page dot contact page, give it all the attributions that align everything up inside of that container. We're working the box model now, where we've got the page as a container and everything's inside of it. Now we get the form itself on the. How's it look? Oh, it's a little more contained, even on desktop. That's a little bit better. Cool. We're working the box now, and then whenever it's there, no, we don't want the space around. We don't want it flex direction row. Don't want to override any of that. We just want to say width 50%. See what happens now. So nothing changed here. Ah, it still didn't want to center. Why not? Margin 0 auto. There we go. It was giving it too much margin. But if we take away all that margin on the left and the right, or on the top and the bottom, that's margin. And then on the left and right, it autoed it out. Cool. Okay. That we're gonna get rid of these because I think the form is enough. Like the placeholder text. How much time have we got? Enough time to clean up this form just a little bit more. How's it look on mobile? In fact, still pretty good on mobile. Okay. And let me know in the chat if you have any questions about what I'm doing or how I'm doing it. I know this is kind of freewheeling and fun, and we're gonna have an awesome website by the end of this. I might make a course on it about how to spin up just a basic website to represent you or your agency, including the contact form and things like that. So yeah, let's do mail form. What do we want to get rid of? We want to get rid of the labels. I think those are ugly. And then we want to have some placeholder text right here. Placeholder. Enter message. Please be nice. Get rid of this little statement right here. Form text. I won't share your information. Like I said, I don't have any information to share, but anybody to share it with or any incentive, but being fair. So okay, that looks better. Let's give each of these elements a little bit of top and bottom padding. So we already have app CSS. We're working in here. And no matter what, this is not going to be on a contact page. It's going to be on the contact. Do we put that in a card? Would that be a good idea? Contact. Put the form in a card. I don't know. Let's just say padding. And then let's say top and bottom. So 1 and left and right, nothing. See how that looks. Making everything. So contact form. Oh, it's squishing everything in. I got it. It's squishing everything in. And so we went like, what, we're 18. And it's adding it on the top and the bottom, but not on the left and the right like we asked it to. So that's okay. We actually like that. 4. Make it nice and centered. What's it look like on mobile? If we spread this out, then it'll look better. We want the actual contact form inputs. Yeah, there we go. Style those a little bit. Now this top and bottom looks one. How about tighter in there? Good. Good on mobile. Good on tablet. Padding. I want some more padding. 1. Nope. I want some more margin. Space between. 1. Got 2. Pretty good. And what about the contact form text area? Let's make that much better. And the contact form button. Right. Background color. We don't want that. We don't want to give it in. Don't want to fight with that yet. Looking more like a contact form. Cool. How's it look on desktop? All right. Nice. Cool. We got that nice cursor pointer. Does the AI have anything else for us before we wrap up? Button hover. That's nice. I always like the Rebecca purple. But we don't want to do too much. That should actually be in theming. Not just one button. Should have that. Every button on the page should have that. We could like that where we say not just this button, but we say button, button hover. Every button gets that. Now that nope, I didn't get that. Dot button. Class, nope, just this one. Contact form. We need to put it at the top and make it important and override everything. I don't think we want that. That's a little too flashy for the site right now. We need to keep it as basic as possible for whenever we choose our themes that are going to be on the website and our colors. So the black and white's okay. The blue's really basic, but we can do better than that over time. And I found some cool tools on Twitter today that we'll probably use in the future. Let's move this up. This contact us just a little bit. It seems like maybe it's a little too low. So did we on the input margin? What we did, padding top bottom. Maybe we can just get rid of that. What's this look like? Save. That maybe looks a little bit better. Good. But on mobile. Good. Okay. Yeah. Working contact form. All good there. We're almost out of time, so let's go ahead and pat ourselves on the back and say job well done with that. Double check all of our pages where home or about us. Home looks good. Contact, privacy policy. Awesome. How's it look on desktop? That should work. Buttons all work. About, contact, privacy policy. Awesome. And check. That looks pretty good too. We need to square this away, but we'll do that last time. Either that or move these icons down. I think that'd be acceptable while we're already writing media queries. But contact us and privacy policy all pretty good. Okay. So that's it for Friday. What are we doing next time? Just have nothing else to do today but push across these changes. We're done with our browser extension. It was cool while it lasted, and I learned a lot. I'll probably forever talk about, hey, I made a browser extension this one time, and it's kind of cool that you could get them I don't know. I saw the service worker there, and I know I want to learn a lot more about progressive web apps, specifically launching one with React. Moving forward, we're gonna have a fun space game, and this is one, two, three, four, five, six sessions. So this is gonna occupy all of next week, and then we'll finish it up the following Monday, and then that should be our last week before we finish on the next Friday. It's been awesome so far. Thank you so much for all of your support. I've gotten some more followers on this channel and on Twitter. Please be sure to follow me on here if you don't mind, or head to my YouTube channel or the start one of my GitHub repos. Every little bit helps. And I will see you next time. Everybody have a great weekend. Thank you so much. Bye bye.